talking to Morgan. I know I was up. We were connecting last night. I know I was up till at least 4:30. She was up till the sun came up.
Oh wow, that's that's a lot.
Yeah, just getting information, one thing after another. So let me put on a little intro. Let people come in.
Resurrection is not limited to icons, but unlimited to the life of our souls. We have all walked the dark nights when we thought we were in the right, and we have all walked in the light when we thought there was none. Oneness is underestimated because it covers far more than peace, love, happiness, and the trappings of dogmas. Oneness is to understand that all of the dark nights hold the same face and that everyone's pain is equivalent when weighed against their singular life experience. Oneness is releasing every possession which really had been possessing us all along. The old family gripes so easy to blame on another, the religions and icons forced on ancestors at the price of land and freedoms forsaken. The government conspiracies and royalty belied of the dark demagoguery of foolish human pride. The chains and the stains, the shames and the blames, that even if we're true, serve no purpose but to hide us from ourselves and each other. Divinity is always becoming, always on time, leading to the first and last, the end that begins. I am soul.
For some reason, we're not getting the chat. Are you getting the chat?
No, for some reason I'm not, but I'm able to pop into different app. I don't.
Very strange. I hate to. Let me try something. I hope it doesn't knock us off. You're kind of streaming to similar channels. No, we don't want to do that. I don't know. So, well, I know there's been a lot of trouble with Zoom. I saw an article today. They're having problems all around the world. So we're not using Zoom. I can't see anybody's comments. I'm going to turn on just on my page, and I'll try to pull up YouTube in a minute. But I apologize for that. We've had good results with this new system, but we're still working the bugs out, evidently. No chat. at this moment, which is kind of sucks, but that's okay. So we got how you doing this morning? What's happening?
Whew.
Let me put the right glasses on.
There's just so much stuff happening nonstop. One day's good, one day's like, whoa, and then just trying to catch up. It's the mind's going so much, spirits are going so much, and the body's just like trying to adjust.
Yeah.
And just finding some balance in order to continue as we're shifting so much. It's been interesting. It's really been interesting.
Was last night a big night for you? Last night was huge for us.
Right? I was actually purging in dream. I remember waking up because my cat woke me up, and I was like, oh my God, this is huge. And then just that split second, I just completely forgot what it was, but I knew it was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, we lay down and just started streaming in, and we were quiet for a while, and then Morgan started channeling, and she was channeling, and everything started like filling in for me. But this went on for, I don't know how long I was up. I think I was up till maybe 4:30. She said she saw the sun come up, so by the time she saw it peeking through the window, so it must have been 6 o'clock in the morning. But but so I know for us, Friday night, Saturday night were absolutely huge. There was huge. We're starting to get some comments now. It was huge, I think, in regard to the masculine stepping into renewed power or something. I don't know. You know, as an individual goes, so goes a collective. It was pretty fascinating. And then there was, like you said, there was a whole bunch of stuff with the body. You know, the body was just like, you know, back problem. You know, she had back pain. I had back pain. Leg soreness. There was some dehydration. I don't know. But so I think you're right. I think there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and you know, I read a few different people that do that type of forecasting, and it all seemed to fit. But I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit off. Not off as in bad. I'm just like, you know, like you come off a spaceship after 300 days in space, and you got to decompress.
Yeah, you're trying to catch up. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
yesterday overall was a lot of. I caught Susan Amara's creation of Live Code, and it was amazing, blown away. A lot of sacral activations, and I noticed that with other people that I follow as well, they were talking about sacral activations that's coming up in the energy and things being cleared out overall, meaning old templates, everything's coming out, and I think this is why the whole body situation is also happening, to trying to stabilize the new energy that's coming in. I mean, nobody's eating like they used to eat. I talked to, who was it, Michael, and he's like, yeah, I've been eating so much more, and I've been asked to juice a certain specific thing, and I was like, oh, that's great. And I was like, what do you feel? And I told him, I think this is more of the creations coming in, that we need certain substances in our body.
Yeah.
And I've been doing more of a cleanse in my way. And so if Spirit asked me, hey, you're going to eat potatoes in your meal today. Okay, I'm going to eat potatoes in my meal. But then again, it makes me wonder overall. It's like, oh, what's the meaning of the potatoes? And then it kind of showed me the picture of a science project and the potatoes and the wires and the connections creating energy. And I was like, oh, okay, I see the connection. So here we go, eating potatoes. But it's interesting.
Yeah, mine was actually red meat. And I'm not a huge red. I'm really not a big red meat eater. I like a hamburger once a week or so, but Friday, I think it was Saturday, we were driving around, and I'm like, I smell barbecue. I'm like, I got to eat some meat, you know. So I went and got a barbecue sandwich, and then it still stayed with me. But then, like last night, it kind of left me. Like I didn't even want to think about eating. And this morning, I just had coconut water for breakfast and some coffee. But yeah, who knows, man, how this is going. We're starting to get comments in now. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, one of the things that's been coming up, though, and I guess we're going to throw it out there, because I'm being guided with the role that we play, you know, Soulogy, as a transmitter, where we try to uphold to the best of our abilities in our never-ending journey of perfecting all of us, that our role in terms of putting information out there as pure and raw as possible, not saying that we're perfect by any means, but what I'm getting at is this, what we've been talking about, not just us, but in the community, this polarization and over-identification with one extreme of the spectrum or the other. I saw some interesting things, and I'm not going to be afraid to talk about this a little bit. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about a symptomatic consequence of the energies that are requiring all of us to look at our own shit. And that includes everybody. But what I'm seeing is this, it's really starting, and maybe it's because the election's coming up, but I don't see where, these types of platforms, the community itself should have any political extremities at all. You know, these messages we saw a couple of months ago where people were saying, hey, if you don't back Trump, get off my page. If you want vaccines, get off my page. If you wear a mask, get off my page. This isn't the page that we're supposed to be on, in my opinion. So I see people being attacked, prominent people. I've seen A Course in Miracles being attacked, which I'm not saying it's the gospel. I don't think there is one true gospel, if you want to use that term. But it's like, what I got from it was to state what's happening, don't take a position on it, and just try to lay some facts down there. The fact for me is, I'm very hazy this morning, is that, you know, a pure channel, a pure stream of, untainted, infinite intelligence, a transmission, a download, whatever you want to call it, does not have a political slant. You know, you can't tell me that something coming in is going to tell, for us to convey a message that, hey, there's good guys and there's bad guys. I mean, this is a situation where we're having to embody all the multi-dimensional information and sacred wisdom that each one of us is receiving in our own way. Embodying means to hold the higher perspective and to keep putting it out there, because these loops of polarization and taking sides is an old program. And it doesn't matter who or what you're backing up. If you're holding on and over-attaching to a belief, you are carrying a charge that's going to continue to perpetuate what we've been going through in the past. And we're leaving this old paradigm. And I think, the advice I got 8-9 years ago from my team, Infinite Intelligence, whatever, was whatever you do in this transition, don't do anything that's been done before. And polarization, over-identification with one ethical, moral, political stance on one side of the spectrum or the other is perpetuating the old paradigm. So I'm not saying I know what to do, but I think it's a time where we can say we know what not to do, and that is not to leave our expanded awareness and our higher perspective, and to implant that, embody that in every single issue, whether it be a family issue or a global issue or whatever. But so that's kind of where I woke up this morning, and I actually saw, as the universe is doing for all of us with greater synchronicity, as I got up, everything that I got from the night before or whatever, is, I see this post, I see that post, I see this post, and it's just saying, hey, this is not something you're imagining. Let's put it out there. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? That's a big mouthful.
No, I think that's the most powerful way we can actually start, and that's what we're setting the tone in, because reality, that's what we're headed. We can see that there is separation, but reality is, you're going to choose either side, or you're going to just choose to have unity overall and continue. There's a lot of people that are finally pulling through, that they've been spewing certain things, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it, and move forward from that. And of course, I mean, I still get a lot of stuff going on about vaccinations and this and that on my feed, my messages. It's like, do I really want to touch it? Is it really in my field? Yeah. I don't really see it in me. I don't really see it for me. So it's not gonna exist in my universe.
Yeah.
So really learning how to push forward and really overall start pulling away from the mainstream media, because all we know everybody knows this. It's fear, 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 fear. And I do agree, right now it's so comical of the things that are coming out with. It's just like, okay, now you can get it through so now they're saying goggles, and then there was another article that you can get it through your ears, so then, oh my God, be careful. And then and I was telling a friend, I was like, I don't know who's making up this. Is like, hey, let's fear factor mongering. Let's come out with something. And the person that happened to have that information must have been that meme that been passing around about how to do COVID sex, which was funny. Everybody laughed, and then suddenly, boom. Please be careful when you're being with the partner. You might get COVID this way. It's just like ridiculous.
Yeah, it reminds me. It reminds me of back like in the 70s and 80s. I remember everything caused cancer. You know, I used to be a big peanut butter fanatic, and I remember they came out and said, you know, coffee causes cancer, peanut butter causes cancer. I mean, just one thing after another. You know, and I think one of the things that's a standout for me is if you look at if you do any research whatsoever, regardless of what how you view the narrative or how, you know, much of a charge you carry or don't carry. All of this stuff has been orchestrated, okay, by the mirrors that we are, all of us collectively together. And if you look at just say the last 100 years and look at the propaganda and the subliminal programming and the overt programming, both sides have been controlled if there's two sides to the story. And that's what I look at. You know, anything that takes our power away, whether it be fear-based programming, savior-based programming, is definitely a blockage to unity consciousness. So, you know, I think it's important for us to be honest with ourselves, even if whatever we tell other people. I mean, it's nice to be able to align your thoughts and your words and your actions. But the bottom line in that mano-a-mano conversation, that dialogue you have with infinite intelligence, with yourself, where you don't bullshit yourself, you know, am I carrying the charge? Why am I so attached to my twin? You know, I'm just going to make it something. Why am I so attached to my twin flame program? Which I'm not, okay, personally. I just want to make that clear. You know, Morgan and I don't really follow that term. But anything, you know, why am I attached to QAnon? Why am I attached to mask or no mask? Why am I attached? And I'm not knocking anyone. I could say Clinton. I could say Biden. I could say the dude that runs UK. You know, there's the dude running Victoria, Australia, that's gone, you know, totally to the extreme. They're going to lock down people. They've had 300 deaths all through the whole thing. I mean, all these things are an offering for us to find that widening 0 point, which widens as each one of us. It's not even about neutrality. It's about, you know, balance. It's about you know, taking on and embodying this higher awareness that we've come into and that we're expanding, and it's just you know, it's just getting really interesting because there seems to be a lot of triggers out there.
Yeah, I think I do agree with Alice, and she says I think that it's only going to intensify towards the election, and it'd be interesting to see after. Yeah, I agree. I think we're heading, I mean, astrologically, all the alignments of what's happening, it's really getting tight, and we're seeing a lot of control, a lot of different things happening. And I follow different astrologers, and they're saying, like, eventually things are going to loosen up. And I mean, you said it. I've seen other people say it. Astrologically, I've seen it too as well. That later on, towards the solstice of December, there's definitely going to be a total shift. And this is going to really be more of like where you're standing, where's your truth, what's you overall. Are you an authentic self? We're going to be able to stand through to 2021, because this is really going to catapult us into action, into overall what the service of humanity is for souls. I mean, many people are getting called to do so much more, and it's amazing to hear introverts like me are coming out of the woodwork.
There are a lot of them. There's yeah. A lot of them, and I've noticed an uptick in the messages over the last week or so and it's people that haven't stepped up. So the typical message will be, I really would like to come on. I don't want to come on, but I know I have to. And so and here's another thing too that I picked up on this morning, or that fell into a further understanding, and that is how important it is, for someone or a group that has a strong community, has a strong following, and the influence that that energy wields. Okay, so what I was getting was basically how there is still running within us this program of, as things get more and more chaotic, let's just put it that way, people, me included, everybody is just as susceptible to it, and that is to try to attach to something that then becomes your nirvana. And so the whole thing is that, as I'm understanding it, and it's being shown to me in the work that we do, which is why I think I'm receiving it, although, obviously I need to take heed on a personal level of everything that comes in. But that is basically that, not to give the power away. And there's a lot of folks attaching to people that have large communities, let's just say, or groups that have large communities. And when you start to come out with polarized stances, that is a big, big deal, because you're affecting a lot of people. It's almost better if you don't know what to say, if you can't stay balanced in a 0 point field, which I know we're all striving to do every day. Don't say anything. Don't say anything, because what we want more than anything is for people to be empowered. And I think with everything playing out, including what's going on in Victoria and everywhere else in the world, that it's pushing people on an individual level to demand and claim their sovereignty.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. It's really pushing people to standing what they really believe in. And the best way too is these projections. It's really, in the long run, I do agree, it's better to stay quiet than to kind of be sucked into that projection, because then again, here's the lower energy being presented, and then you have that choice to get sucked into it. There's always that pause now, and I think a lot of people that's been doing the work kind of have that pause, like, ooh, do I really need to engage? Do I really need to engage in this? And then just let it falling away. And I think at this moment, it's just going to keep going more and more. I mean, it's happened even in my personal life with my family. It's just like, ooh, I see that what's going on. Do I really want to engage? Never mind. I'm done.
Hell no.
But, that's one of the biggest things. I mean, even with this family, you're like, okay, you're coming to me, I'm going to say this. You don't want to listen? Okay, fine. It's okay. I'm peace, love you very much. You need to do what you need to do. And it's kind of hard when they don't really know what zero pointing is, and you're trying to like, well, this is the way that it can help you and how find some balance and really try to overcome something. It's like, okay, well, it's not for them. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to keep moving forward with that. They're not ready.
Well, and even like, okay, so like if we can apply that to what we're talking about on the global scale, the family is obviously the circle is closest to us, or nothing but a more concentrated replica of what we're seeing out there in the field, and so why is it that we're trying to convince somebody of something? If you're trying to convince somebody of the truth, doesn't have to try to convince anybody. And if we're walking into more and more alignment with truth, with love, with an expanded truth and expanded love and wisdom, we really have to be conscientious of what's happening, because whatever we're doing is a reflection of where we're at within ourselves. And if I have to try to convince you of this or this or that, then I'm obviously missing something within myself. And we're all on this journey together. We all have blind spots and things that we're unconscious of. But to me, this is kind of where I see it. The dialogue, in my opinion, now this is an opinion, the dialogue, in my opinion, doesn't need to be about QAnon and Trump. And even vaccines and masks, to an extent, I think we all know that there is a massive distortion out there and has been for thousands of years, and that we came here to clear it up. And as Morgan said a minute ago in the comment, there's always a lot of chaos before that new creative energy explodes, and that's what we're approaching. So to me, the dialogue should be what you said earlier, and what many people have said, and that in December, this golden child energy is going to be birth, that there's something's going to change. You can put it in a lot of different ways, but that we're coming up to something that's going to be huge. I have a strong belief that nothing in 2021 is going to look like 2020, and we still have a ways to go in 2020. So, so let's play to our strengths. Which our strengths are unity and oneness versus polarizing and separation and that type of thing. I'm struggling. I'm still happy and a half out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's been constant change, and then shows like this have been helpful to a lot of people overall in order to help shift mentality. Because then it's like, oh, information. Oh, I see the connection. Because it is overall personal experience also help collectively, and it's really. If you look at a lot of different feeds, of course, they all have this tone and this theme. It's the same thing that Franco Di Nicola talks about monthly themes overall in his series and whenever he comes on. So it's always interesting to see everything else that's coming up. And he's been really amazing in his stuff. So, I mean, I think I can't even remember what episode it was. I think it was a recent one that's talking about conscious choice overall and what's the role that you're playing, and if you want to continue playing that role, and is really pulling into the sovereignty. It's okay, you're your own co-creator. How you're going to create your reality, your world, and you get to choose, and you do have that power and will to shift gears. I mean, we live in a constant multiverse. Just one decision can change different universes within yourself. So there's exactly. It's the quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement.
Exactly.
Our thought from right here can touch the core of the star on the farthest end of the multiverses. I mean, it's quantum entanglement. This is. I mean, it's just. There's something about something that's happening that you referred to earlier about yourself, and it's like, if you look at this platform, we don't constantly, and I'm not trying to give us any credit, what I'm trying to do is make a point. Where are you going to find the 99.99% broadcast? And I'm not saying that it's only here, or that it has to be here. What I'm trying to say is that when are we going to listen to the voice or the voices of that mother goddess in all of us that's been suppressed, and we all know that is really directing us to the new way, because we know the old way isn't going to work, and we're all privy to this. We all understand this. So the more of us that speak up, and I'm a big believer that all of us are going to have to step up in one way or another, be it with our family, be it with ourselves, be it publicly, wherever the case is, and more people are doing that. That's very powerful stuff, and I think it's hitting a lot more people than we have any inclination about. I mean, I really believe that we're affecting each other in a way that we never have before, and I think that with all the stuff going on, it is a really good time to keep it simple. And one of those things is what Morgan just put up and we talked about last week, which is you're either in distraction or creation. And you brought that up a minute ago. If you're creating something, you can't be distracted, and that really makes it a lot easier, because what am I going to fear? Like somebody's going to knock on my door and take my whatever away, or even I'm going to be physically extinguished. Well, so what? I mean, I'm not going to, that doesn't mean I'm going to die. There is no death. I mean, so I don't know. It's This is why we do the show on Monday morning, sleepy or not, just to kind of put stuff out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're all processing some at different levels. It's one day might be one thing, and then there's just a constant shift, and you're like, oh, there's something else that needs to be cleared. So I spent mostly yesterday working on zero pointing some maternal stuff. So it was interesting. It was interesting everything that was coming in. I was like, okay, well, I know how to do it, and it was easier for me. And it wasn't much of a trigger for me. It was more of like, hey, this is where I stand. And I'm not going to engage, and I need to tell you in order to, like, don't come at me with that. Yeah. And I think it's overall those conversations, maybe they have to happen by phone, or if I'm going to be speaking to somebody else's higher self. And I've been doing that a lot more. It's like I'm having an issue, I need to have a conversation. I'll pull in that higher self and have that telepathic communication. It's like, hey, this is where I'm at. And I've done it with a partner, a friend, family, other person, where it's like, I can't go down that road. I'm done with this. Please, we need to like just sell things and move on. And then I get a call, and afterwards, a couple weeks after, down the line, and it's like, you know what? I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally get where you're coming from. We're good. So it's nice to have that telepathic communication happening now, and a lot of it too, it's coming in a lot stronger. Well, so
absolutely, I totally agree with that. And even before I knew what ascension was or anything, and as I was approaching that wake up point, I used to do that. Now I did it in a way that I understood. I'd say, okay, let me get my angels together. Let's go talk to the other person's angels, but think about it. So the power of the imagination has been suppressed as well. That's probably part of our feminine makeup. I mean, the flow and the creativity of it. But it's been grossly underestimated. But at the same time, by those we put in charge to play the 1% or whatever, utilized the power of our own imagination against us, which was the fear-based programming and the savior-based programming. But if you think about just our day-to-day interactions before we woke up, or in our weaker moments, or further back in our evolution, we spent time doing what? Oh, even if you didn't say anything, he did that to me, she did that to me, I bet they're thinking this, why do they think that? That was power. That was actually, from a quantum perspective, creating our reality. So don't think for 1 second that you couldn't influence what a mirror of yourself, somebody else. Now, by the same token, what if we replace that feed, that stream of that type of thinking with what you're talking about, saying, hey, I don't like this person, they really piss me off, but I'm going to go upstairs and connect to them. And whether somebody comes in and says, oh, you can't do that, you can't connect to someone's higher self, how do you know? You don't know what I can do, but I can certainly, from the heart of my intentions, connect with you, okay, because we had a conflict or whatever, and we can have a conversation, smoke the peace pipe, and I guarantee you there's plenty of people out there that are seeing evidence of this type of communication. It doesn't mean that you don't have occasions where, like you said, where you need to say something. Because we do love each other, and because maybe it's worth the risk, but but at least let's back off of thinking for other people and creating these waves of energy that are not for the highest and best good, based on our assumptions and insinuations.
Yeah, I think you did say something that's right there, and then that's very true. The person that can and the person that cannot is very true. They believe they can't, by all means, they won't. Yeah. Because that's in their field. That's their block. They just put the blinders on and say, this is up to where I can go. I can't go any further. And the other person's really saying, I have no limits. Yeah. I'm coming from a place of love, connection, and everything else in my intention to the highest good. That I'm going to go ahead and speak to this person with the highest intention, that is peace and loving and kindness, to have resolution to whatever. I mean, who says that love isn't powerful enough to do that? There's no fear, there's no attack, there's nothing that is attached there. I mean, thoughts are very powerful. And when I worked with the curandera, she was teaching me. She did say, mostly with the cleansing, when I had a cleansing the first time, physically salt came out of my body. And this is all done through prayer. It was all done through prayer, and salt just popped out of my body. And she says, well, those are negative thoughts that go towards you. People are wishing you bad. So when you wish someone bad, it does come in their energetic field, but another person doesn't realize, because they also don't know how to learn how to transmute certain things. I mean, some people get energy attacks, or psychic attacks, whatever they want to call those. Either they can choose to be like, oh my God, I'm in fear, someone's attacking me, or do the work and be like, I don't know where this is coming from, let me just transmute this, and go into the zone to finding, overall the source if they want to, if they really feel they need to know, or really just clear the energetic field. I mean, we have several. It just doesn't come down one way. And to really just push away all those things that are coming, because reality is there must be a little thing in there that's affecting that person that they must have hold a belief in order to affect that person that they felt for themselves. And that to me has been one of the biggest clarities in order to push through whenever I feel something's a little off. It's like, okay, well, I need to take a step back, look at myself in the mirror and see what are those thoughts that I'm having that I'm also feeling overall, in order that somebody might be throwing something towards me, as like, how do they say in Spanish? Mala vibra?
No me digas. I don't know Spanish. Don't ask me. I'm a coconut. I'm brown on the outside. We got a guest coming in a second. Let's tie this one up. If I can go back and capture the thread, what you were saying. God, because you were saying a lot. Yeah, but I guess it's the. Well, I know what I was going to say. That one of the things that I've noticed this year, and I think it's been expanding over the last 2 or 3 years, but that our power has gotten stronger because I guess our awareness has gotten larger. And the thing is, anything that's showing itself to us, whether it be a person or a mandate about a mask or a non-physical energy, it's a part of us coming to see us to bring it to the 0 point, basically. So the universe is supporting that type of intention. And I think there's a lot less need for protection today than there was 3, 4, 5 years ago, because there was a lot of distorted stuff still running out there that wasn't neutralized, or whatever you want to call it, such as fourth dimensional, archonic energies, that type of thing. We all know with the channelings and transmissions people have come up with over the last couple of years in regard to things, metaphorically speaking, the reptilians have left the quarantine is lifted, the galactics here, all that stuff leading to the same type of message, energetic message, which is we're coming into our power. This is a collective ascension. Jump on and, help build the wave or get smashed, basically. So we have a guest coming on. I think I put it in the post. McManus. He came on a week ago Sunday, and he started. He really jumped into in a very difficult topic in retelling of an experience, and so I'm just going to kind of let it speak for itself. But we're going to bring him on. This is a show that we're doing, by the way, every Monday morning to set the week off right, hopefully. And we're going to expand a little bit. We're going to play excerpts from the previous week's shows. This may not actually take full form for another 30 days because we've got a trip to Sedona next month for 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of broadcasting from Sedona with a lot of people that you know, a lot of collaboration, co-creation. But this show will run probably about an hour and a half. Delia and I will host it. We'll have guests come on like we are right now, play videos, play some of Michael Mejia's poetry and other expressions, and just try to create something out of nothing, which is what we're all doing anyway. But let's get Arm up here, and let me see. Boom. There we go. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hi. I am in a very good space this morning. Like everything is funny as shit. Like the coffee guys are just cleaned up off my stove. I love what I was hearing as I was sitting in your waiting room here, and um, particularly on the point of our power coming back, and how it seems like everything is like really just starting to come to life, and we're needing to focus less on our protection because we're inherently protected in the energy of love, which we are embodying more and more as quantum leaps, moment to moment. And the topic that I broached in terms of my journey and how that relates to the bigger picture, it's like uh, this is another aspect, another piece of the puzzle coming online, clicking into synchronization, is the fact that our greatest power lies within our innocence, and the fact that the innocent are now being saved and being taken to places where the innocent can recover their lives, recover themselves, is a huge proponent, at least from what I'm seeing, in us shifting this world back into the heavenly place that it was originally designed to be. Yet at the same time, it's like we've grown so much from these experiences that it's going to be so much more expansive than what was originally created here on Earth with like the Lemurian and Atlantean and other ancient civilizations that really don't get talked about a whole bunch. I think they actually intended it that way. And I feel like that since we are having more and more contact with the various galactic groups, our cosmic families, all of that, it's really just a sign of the times that we are stepping into what I feel could be termed as the way that life on Earth was and is once again going to be experienced. Just this experiential living, through living in joy and grace and peace and love as our quote unquote literary tool to expand upon our human lives, being spiritual beings experiencing life as humans. With that being said, I just wanted to thank everybody from the depths and expansion of my heart for holding such sacred space for me to share what I did last week, because this has literally set me free. I have felt the lightest I ever have in this life, the most immediately connected to joy that I ever have been in this life. And I feel like I finally am getting like the pieces I need consciously to move forward along my own path. And thank you. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You really went deep with your experience, and I think that really did help a lot of people to realize, hey, let's do some real deep work. And overall, everything that's been happening, I think it really was needed, because we really need to clear some of those layers that's been really distorted, like the sacred sexual energy, to really bring back into the oneness of the purity of that really what it is, to have that co-creation between those two souls when they merge together. And we live in a society that everything's being sexualized. Everything's being sexualized, that it's distorted people. It's distorted overall people beyond that. And I know that right now, how things are happening and how we're really arguing the work overall, and I really do love what you said, we're going back into the innocence. It really is clearing all those distorted programs in order to have that co-creative energy back into us, to really have that leap when we have those thoughts, telepathic communications happening, that when we say want and create and manifest, it's becoming more and more often. So there's really amazing, and powerful manifestors
more
out
instant
there.
Too.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So it's really good to have those deep healings, because it cannot just be all loving, light, fluffy stuff. We really have to go deep down, do the shadow, dark night of the soul, mini dark night of the souls into the huge one that we had in order to have collective healing. And sometimes we don't go looking for it. And sometimes we go down to the rabbit, we find all these things. It breaks our mind up. It really truly does. Just like your story overall really did click into me of certain things that have happened when I dove deep and I was asked to do timeline healing. And it was that exactly when you were the abuser, the victim, the perpetrator, all those things come forward.
Yep.
And usually don't talk about these things because people don't understand what is it to, it's not just compassion to the other person and that soul. They did play a role, but they played the role that they overall said, hey, I'm going to do this. We're going to play out this. And this is just old layers, really old extreme layers that have been written on top of what we've been through. And this is like Atlantis, Oneness, and the Egyptians before it started getting corrupt, because that was really pure energy. And when it got corrupted, that layering that happened and that got overlaid and got into the genetic system of the human aspects was really there. I mean, this is why we keep seeing it perpetrated so many often, time after time after time. And this is what people don't really talk about. How?
Can I interject something real quick? As you're seeing this, it's like, think of like how our bodies respond to like the flu. You know, we get feverish. We have to lay down and rest while our body self-cares and heals, and that's exactly what we on a cellular level have been going through for all these millennia. Is like we've just had a fever and we've been fighting off an infection, and literally like this month, I feel like we got over it. The fever is subsiding, and it's like our normal functions are slowly but surely resuming their original function. Yet, because antibodies and all that were created, it's like not only does it preclude any possibility of the infection coming back, more to the point, it's like in how our spiritual immune systems actually function, this is what contributes so greatly to our soul growth and evolution, going through these dark nights of the soul. That I kind of look at it like God is examining herself to really examine just like the nitty-gritty details of what would happen if my creations decided to experience separation from me, and what would they do with that? And in my feeling, God has received a satisfactory answer to that. And this goes beyond just like what we as souls know that God knows, but this is also like the secrets that God holds. It's like so much of what she hasn't divulged to any one of his creations, or even a group of her creations, really coming to manifestation. So it's like, as we're going through this, I don't know that any of us could really accurately see beyond just like a general blueprint of what is coming our way, because there's so much that we just don't know at a soul level that nevertheless is coming into being.
Yeah, I think that's why I say we're not going back to the original blueprint or the original template. We're creating a new one, and I love what you're doing.
Yep.
I love the metaphor of and could be literal, whatever, of God's examining itself. Like if I am what I am that, and I go and create something, that immediately means that I have to walk into an unknown situation. So why wouldn't the universe, as we are made in the image, be doing what we do, which is rise to a higher level of awareness based on taking some actions, and then getting to the higher level of awareness, and then looking at some what we call shadow that we didn't know existed because we were on a lower threshold at the time. So there's a couple of things he said too I want to go back to. One of them, I love what he says about what's surfacing. And this goes back to what Day and I opened the show with. There's a little bit of a connection here. And that is that if we're looking at, there's a lot of talk about the shift. You know, the ugly, the dark, the evil, the horrible. And I love what he said about all this stuff is coming to light. So, and we'll just put it out there: the trafficking, the abuse, the rituals, the and all that stuff. But I love what he said on the second part. He said it's coming up, and they're being healed. So they're reflections of us, the collective transformation, the collective leveling up. Yeah, on the human level can look pretty nasty and gritty, but I love that he said they're coming up to be healed because that's part of us. That stuff's coming up in us to be healed, and that's evidence of it, you know. So I think that's a really big thing to remember because we spend a lot of time, even in these light worker circles, focusing on the negative, negative. Now we can say I'm telling everybody because I want them to wake up. Well, you know what? I don't think anyone's that asleep. If they appear that asleep, then that's probably the role that they chose. They wanted to stay dumbed down. They want to stay ignorant, whatever you want to call it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and just respecting that. But I really believe there's enough information out there that we all know something's not right in Kansas. You know, we're not in Kansas anymore, whatever you want to call it. Now, the other thing that he was talking about, it slipped my mind. So I'll have to come back to that one. But you were talking about, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say though. But thank you for bringing up those points. I'll throw them back on one of you because I'm still asleep.
Well, that's interesting point you bring up there because it's like every single path that is available is absolutely valid. So if a soul is choosing to have more experiences in the slumber time, it's like that space is created for them and that time is created for them so they can get the most out of that experience. And that's not to say that that's going to hold up the show for other souls that are ready to move on because that space and time is also created for us who are ready to, um, for example, help these children being liberated reclaim their lives. I mean, I had a conversation with someone that reached out to me in the aftermath of my sharing last week, and she's putting together a team of healers who have gone through the similar type of experiences and journey that I have to help these children who are being liberated from these deep underground military bases and other places where these human trafficked individuals have been stored and held as slaves. And it's like the well, it's funny about things slipping because that thread's kind of expanding right now. So it didn't slip; it's expanding. But the point of it is like as I've been thinking more about this conversation, it's like there's so much of my own life that I don't necessarily feel like I've been successful in experiencing, mainly because so much of my energy and focus has been in not just surviving the trauma but also utilizing the tools as they've opened up throughout my journey to, clear and transmute and create the antibodies that that basically updates our immune system so we can become free in our own rights to experience other things that are much more on that joy wavelength. And it's like I feel like that so much of what we're going to be seeing moving forward is directly related to um, our energy and focus shifting into okay, so I've done this, I've helped humanity heal, I've helped the planet heal, and they're humming along nicely. They can take care of themselves. So what can I do, or rather, how can I open up to experiencing more of the joy in a collective setting? So like the whole solitude journey that I've had is shifting to more of like a community tribal sort of setting that in part's going to help these children reclaim their lives, but at the same time it's like these children are showing me how to be more in that innocence and show me the building blocks to creating a life that's actually worth living that I haven't been able to do simply because of where my focus and energy, and also how even carrying that distorted frequency that we could categorize as trauma really hasn't enabled those of us in my sort of position to experience.
Yeah. We had a, now I remembered, by the way, because it's exactly what you're talking about. So there goes telepathy, right?
I love it.
We had a huge weekend. It was just huge. I'm not even like probably 15% cognizant of what's happened. Morgan's probably like, at 85. But
Oh, she's amazing like that.
one of the things that came up as you're talking about this, and again, we're talking energy, because I love what you said too, about you're like, how do you contribute that? How do you express that and influence the collective? Well, what came in was the energy of vulnerability, total vulnerability, and
Transparency.
total lack of inhibition. So to me, what I picture is myself as a kid or a kid running around on a playground, nothing to be concerned about, absolutely vulnerable, even if it's at an unconscious level, and playing with reckless abandon, with just abandon, with life, with life force.
Yes.
And I see that with the whole energetic representation of, if the children are being, representing that's what's been blocked in all of us. Think about it. How often have you gone into a situation where you can release all your vulnerability, all possibilities and potentials of embarrassment and showing your ass and all that, and at the same time be uninhibited and just go for it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And shown to me
Absolutely.
in a very, very interesting way with my wife, and but it was so deep because I understood the curiosity, the genuine curiosity, uninhibited, in a total state of vulnerability, to the point when it kind of flowed through me. I thought, oh, wait a minute, vulnerability is going to be like healing. It doesn't even exist in the space that we're creating. There's no reason it doesn't exist, because there's no threat, So I think it is really important, what you're saying, and just to restate it again, particularly about, it's not just about what's coming to the surface, it's about what's happening as a result, which is further alignment, further perfecting as we continue on this transition we call ascension.
There's fireworks going off, and with all that being said, I think it can be summarized simply as vulnerability is where our souls express ourselves most purely.
Yeah. Without anything impeding us, whether it's ourself, because it's all the same thing, right?
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I really think overall it's really pushing everybody away from, oh my God, I'm going to have fear if I step out, and if I share this, if I do this, that whole contemplation and the second guessing, it's kind of dissolving. It's no longer being applied anymore. Sometimes people are not ready, but evidently I see a lot of people stepping up and saying, hey, this is where I'm at, this is who I am. And I had a friend of mine when I live in the East Bay area, and it's barely 2 years since I moved. So it's still finding ground and everything else, and it's kind of new. So it's like, oh, where do I go? Ooh, how do I make friends and everything else? So it's really hard at times, but reality is really being pushed. It's like, okay, well, you need to make a life. You need to be put out there. And if they don't like you, they don't like you. And you're going to continue being who you are and not edit yourself. Because this is many times people, even in the community, have said, well, you need to be normal. And I laugh and it's like, what's normal? What's normal?
I thought that was a setting on the dryer.
Exactly.
Rapid spins my setting.
So yeah, so it's...
What are you saying, Daya? I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's more of authenticity.
Yeah.
It's more of authenticity and really being with yourself, and vibration's vibration. People are going to gravitate towards you if it resonates and it's speaking truth to their being. This is how we're creating our all circle. this is how we're creating our connections. Even with this time of age, it's interesting. Even in this time of age that 2020 has really brought, I mean, they really tried dividing people. What it's really doing, it's bringing more people together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's through vulnerability, exactly like that, and it's through softness. It's through authenticity, and it's feeling vibration. You can't really fake vibration. You can't.
No. That's the language that's coming back. You know, I mean, you can't BS. Well, that's the thing too, because of course, you can't BS yourself, which means you can't BS the universe. But yeah, this. I guess I really keep going back to what he's saying, because even if I look at what we talked about at the top of the show, what I'm observing, what I'm being told, why are light worker energies taking extremes, taking political positions? It's us against them. I mean, unity is unity. There is no separation. There is no in between. And I look at this and I think to myself, oh, wait a minute. This is all happening. As Morgan says, it gets more and more and more chaotic before that black hole burst or whatever, however this happens, the mini big bang or the new big bang. But yeah, that's helped me today, because now I can go forth with my week and look at these things, try to stay aligned to my mission and my role, my duty, for lack of a better word. But at the same time, to keep in mind that, hey, what I'm observing is actually indicative of the direction we're going, and it's not going down into the shitter. It's going to a higher echelon, So the shifter, I meant.
Yeah, we've already been the shitter. Now we're in the shifter.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and I think too that, like, just like, I'm thinking about this show, for instance. So you have an hour and a half show. You have a little opening, Delia and I, let's just say we have a beloved friend drop in, like we play a little bit of a little somebody's music, maybe Universal Brother and Sister Circle from Germany, or Michael Mejia's poetry, or Candace Coe's light language, with her visuals. There's so many that are out there doing this more and more every day. That energy, to me, is what Day is talking about. That is the uninhibited, total vulnerability, stepping out because your team, the you, me, we, it's pushing you out there. And those frequencies that are offered from those type of expressions far supersede any rhetoric, any dialogue between the pros and the cons, and the anti-mask and the mask. You know what I mean? I mean, those energies cannot be underestimated, because, as you were saying, vibration, people pick up on it.
Yep.
So we're going to do what we can to promote that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this really is the deployment phase of everything we've been holding within ourselves, all those pure light frequencies within ourselves that are now ready for dissemination. So, like, we're just amping up the vibe within ourselves, and therefore connecting with the experiences that give those codes the expression to fully deploy and implement within the planetary energy field and in the consciousness of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do think that creation overall, I'm seeing a lot more people. I mean, this past weekend, a lot of light language was coming in for a lot of people. Even in the sessions that I was doing, it was just like nonstop. And even, I can't remember what day I was on. Last light language launch with Susan Amara, a lot of us shared so much, and it was intertwined, layered, that it was being anchored, and it was nonstop. And a lot of people bringing the expression, and it kind of weaved in together in the new frequency that it's being collectively being done. So it's really amazing. Oh, so cute.
That's a warrior. Now keep going.
So yeah, so it's interesting to see everything else that's coming in, and it's really being pushed to creation and being fully in the creativity. And it's also coming from our own experiences and what our team's coming in and saying. and how we're rendering certain things. So I see that there's a lot of brothers and sisters that are also getting in the creative mode, that are starting to put their own codes, that are starting to do visual aids, that are starting to do a lot of things. And the same thing with like even Michael and his amazing poetry. It's so amazing and very powerful.
And it's and that's a great indicator too, like as a micro example, because I put 2 of his videos on my wall like in the last week, and I watched, and I don't know how much influence me posting it had, but like I watched the number of views from the original time he posted it, like just double and triple, like in just a matter of 2, 3, 4 days. I thought, whoa. So like what you said about people picking up on the vibration, I got to tell you too, last night when we were connecting for a long, long time, we were connecting, and I tried to go to sleep because I had 4 shows today. I thought, I'm going to have to go to sleep. So I curled up next to Morgan and kind of faced her, and rather than facing away, because I just wanted to take in her essence. And she says, "Oh, I thought you were doing light language, and then I realized you were snoring in my face, and I had to push you over." When you said the thing about the light language, it made me laugh. I wasn't laughing at what you were talking about. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's coming in amazing ways. I mean, I'm seeing so much stuff, and it's really beautiful to see all those informations and bringing everything in unity. And I'm seeing, well, at least in my feed, in my perspective, I'm seeing less separation, because overall it doesn't really exist in me. I see people that are in it, that are trying to shift, and I'm hoping that everybody does shift, because this is a lot more greater collectively that's happening.
Yeah. Says here, Shanine says we have triple viewership too, and I'm doing less shows. They keep coming. It might just be Finn. And somebody says we can't always identify who's making the comments because of something they got going on over here, but we'll work on it. Anyway, somebody said snoring is dragon speak. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, and so where are we at? I mean, the whole idea, or part of the idea of doing the show on Monday morning is for us to kind of like review what happened the week before. So like I said, we'll come on, we'll play some excerpts, maybe 3, 4 excerpts of 3 or 4 minutes, talk about it. What was the common denominators from the week before? What was everybody's weekend like? And this is like a perfect example, right? And then you come on Monday and where are we at? So that we can better align, better contribute as the week goes on. So I'm picking up on quite a few things. One is to encourage those people that want to step up, whether they've ever stepped up on screen before or not, and come share your experience. And don't be afraid, because it carries a lot of positive potential consequences for everybody out there. Do not underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul. But I think as I look at this right now, I want to go into this week and I want to bring a more balanced energy from my own core of existence into these matters of people in our community bashing, oppositions in their mind, bashing, A Course in Miracles, bashing spiritual leaders who, don't agree with them on political issues. I want to be able to bring something to the table here. I don't know what to do, so I'm putting that out there. I don't think we've all learned that we can't just walk through it all and say it's a bunch of fluffy love and light stuff. There is another side to it, and people like stepping up and talking about these things brings it to the surface, and that's fantastic. Plus, what he said in terms of, hey, if that's happening, that means we're taking that many more steps in degrees towards alignment, healing, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just putting that out there. I would like to see more balance, more unity, and less of this back and forth. I realize that the chaos is the womb of the mother, the holy darkness, and that's how it all kind of begins. But, I still would like to see if we can do this with more ease and grace. I don't know where went. Oh, there he is. He's back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really do. Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, there he is.
Because a minute there, I thought he was gonna. He looked like he was gonna share something. Like I could see it. I could see that he was getting something.
Well, I this is just the thing. It's like, those of us who are meant to be at the forefront with our courage and share the nitty-gritty, deep, dark details, bringing that to light, it's like that path is already clear. And so it's like I feel like issuing an invitation for others to not just step up, but also like convey that sense of warmth and of safety and of protection, to be in that vulnerable space to share our soul's journey. Because I feel like at this point, for those of us who are connecting in this way, it's like just speaking our truth, speaking the truth, is transmuting and dissolving whatever blocks and barriers that have been in place to facilitate this experience of separation. And each time that one of us steps up and is in our courage, is in our strength. So courage is like coming from the heart and coming from love. It's breaking down those facilitators of the experience of separation and shifting that configuration back into, though in an evolved way. So it's like all the bypasses that we created to maintain that connection with source are still being used, yet at the same time those primary energy pathways, soul pathways that were originally there, are also being energized and primed. So it's like there's so much more interconnectivity available. So it's like, think of it like the synapses within the brain or the heart. It's like, if someone has a stroke, as an example, the brain will actually reroute and rewire itself so that, motor function can happen, that the autonomic functions can still happen. That would be like the closest analogy to how I see our souls operating at this time, with the addition of the original pathways also opening up and energizing at this time. And to all of those who, are teetering on, okay, I want to share, I've got just like this huge thing I want to share, go for it. This is the time. This is what would best serve everyone, including yourself, to share that and have the bravery and the courage that you already have in droves to express itself in a way that will set you free.
Here. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful. That's exactly what's going to be pushing forward. I think this is overall a greater invitation for more energy to really push forward, and not push as in they're doing it, being forced, but they really are working towards
encouragement.
Yes, there you go. It's a perfect word. I think sometimes words and language don't no longer make justice in what's happening, and we'll soon be shifting away from that, evidently, in the future, as we're having, and a lot of people are becoming more telepathic, where there's connection coming in and vibrations being felt, and you're like, oh, I understand where you're coming from. That evidently will shift out. So there's a lot more things to be really looking forward to. Doesn't matter evidently it has to happen in certain ways, and we cosmically had set this up in our own way. But we are fully capable in bringing all our aspects to say, hey, I don't want to go through the suffering. I think it's not think, it's more claiming. So I want to experience the joy. Yeah, exactly. A lot of it is we're done with a lot of those aspects that we don't longer want to keep repeating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so let me add a couple
I lost you guys for a little.
We heard you. We got you.
It's really pushing forward to the essence, and going forward with everything that's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I
God,
love this grin that your video is frozen on, Delia.
so, and yeah, and a couple of things that come to mind as we're heading into the last 6 minutes. One is she's popping in and out. One of them is, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just trying to make a point. Uh, Ex-smoker, right? You smoke, then you quit, and then you damn everybody that smokes. So I guess what I'm saying is, as you were talking about, as we're saying, I'm done with whatever. That's a personal choice, a new choice that I'm making, whatever the issue may be, and let's bear in mind or be aware or try to be conscious of whether or not we're throwing rocks at who we used to be. Okay, in essence, other
Yes.
people. So I think that's part of it, and then I think the other part of it is triggers. You know, I think everybody can kind of go, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're still getting them, and sometimes they knock me down, but something is happening. They're not lasting as long. The elevations are bigger. I feel better. There's not as much downtime. So I think just in terms of that, is to just understand that that is a huge part of our experience. We are valiant souls. We chose to come here, and one of the main reasons we chose to come here, in my opinion, was to have a physical, very physical, with all the things human, with all the things that go with that, all the multifaceted layers of the human, the emotion, the mental, the extremes, everything. And that's just to look at that with a little bit more honor and a little bit more respect and reverence, and also understanding that we can do this with more ease and grace, and they don't have to hammer us, like they did in the past. But again, to go easy on ourselves and to go easy on each other, because we're all going through the same thing. Delia, are you still here? I think is astral traveling. She's blocked, or she's frozen. Signal. You want to? We got like 4 minutes. You want to bring up some concluding comments, whatever, however you feel, whatever resonates.
I think that this is the time that we're really going to see how prepared we actually are for this shift. And I think that this is also the time where we're going to see how true our nature actually is. So this is speaking to those parts of our conscious awareness that may still be attached or clinging on to the way that we have been living, just because that's how the mind has been accustomed to living, rather than seeing and embracing the new. And I feel like this is what we're going to be experiencing as a collective over the next couple weeks, is those blinders becoming lifted, and seeing just how graceful and easy and loving and peaceful and joyous and interconnected our lives can be. So it's like, we've been getting like spoon fed, like, here comes the airplane. And and now it's just like,
I just had a flashback.
nice.
In the heights.
And then it's just like, okay, well, here's the cake, have fun. And then, proceeding to devour that cake in whatever way that seems fitting. Personally, I'm just going to plop my face in it and just devour.
Yeah.
And get all covered in it. And it's like, and this is also speaking directly to that shutdown program, that, kind of kicks in when we really begin to tap into and access our soul, and that which would want to suppress our soul's truth. And it's like, that program doesn't hold any water anymore. So it's like, whatever conditioning has been conditioned into the subconscious to expect some sort of retribution, or some kind of shutting down of flowing in this joy, just recognize it's not there and be vigilant within yourself to be in that space of love, to allow yourself to just simply flow and allow it to flow, allow yourself, your love to flow wherever it may, because there's nothing stopping it except for ourselves at this point.
Right on. I love this. Karen drew an angel card, the card of truth and freedom, the throat chakra. So this is
nice.
These things happen, right? So yeah, this is cool. We're going to keep evolving this show, and as well as expanding the offering from the network in collaboration with other people, their own channels, their own shows. It's a little premature right now, but we're making little baby steps. We've got the second half of next month will be in Sedona. There'll be a lot of people I'm pursuing to do some collaboration and co-creation. There's some already scheduled, but I think in October we'll be coming back out with a little bit more of an expanded offering, and I'm looking forward to that. So I want to leave everybody with this old, it's not old as in old, but old for Soulogy collaboration. Actually, it was a solo thing done by our beautiful sister, Willow Love, at the time known as Angie Love. But it's called Spiritual Gangster, Put Your Love Where Your Mouth Is. And it kind of fits with what we were talking about today. And again, go easy on yourself, go easy on each other. It's just about 2.5 minutes long if you guys want to hang around and get a little meditation, Soulogy style. Thank you very much. I love you.
Love you too.
Right on. I'm going to put on our little meditation, and then we've got 3 more shows today. And just look on my wall and the Soulogy walls for who it is and what time. Thank you.
This is a 528 hertz heart chakra opener, love frequency. I was guided with a little message, started writing. Okay, there we go. Spiritual gangster claiming 1, dividing self. 1 complaint at a time. Instead, I'm gonna spew through this little rhyme. Ready? Here we go. Love and light, this is how we fight. Sending out acceptance. Change isn't what we do, change is what we are. You wanna be a spiritual gangsta? Stop the venom spew. Trump is who we consciously chose. It's who we've got, whether you want to believe it or not. Spiritual gangsta, put your ego aside. Stop whining. Injustice, another illusion, because we are free. Stand with me, us, the one, here to learn how to love all that stand before me. I shall wash your feet. Oneness is the only way we will ever be complete. I'm not judging, brothers and sisters. This is a friendly reminder. Breathe, just be. Allow your heart to lead. You desire change? Change your mind. Feel before your fingers hit the keys. Feel before you speak. Be an example of this love ministry. You sick of hypocrites and posers you claim? Can't be one that makes you just the same. Again, desire change, go silent. Don't speak, send love. Hate is for the weak. Let's take the high road together. We have changed Earth, Gaia forever. pride in your country, your world, no divide. Pull up your big girl panties, it's time to ride. Soulogy style. Today is a happy day. Praise be to us. Praise Blu-ray. Put love where your mouth is.
That was Angie, or Willow Love. I was going to sign
Thank you,
off.
Angie Willow Love.
Yeah, she's amazing. We did a lot of collaborations in the early days. And I'm trying to pull her out of retirement now, so. But anyway, so, yeah, I was going to sign off, but Delia popped back in, so I figured she looked like I Dream of Jeannie popping back in. So, you got anything you want to you got anything you want to conclude with, Delia? And then to and then we'll sign off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened. My computer just completely crashed. But at that moment, too, I was like, oh my God, massive energy. So I was actually getting light language. So I'll do light language right now. A lot of
Wow, that's powerful light language.
Yeah, she's lit, man. She is absolutely lit. I mean, all the time, no doubt. We'll give her a couple of minutes. We'll let you go. You go next. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Here she is. Let's get her back. Okay. See if you can hold your frequency down just a little bit.
I know, right? Sorry. It just put me out. But yeah, light language was towards regarding joy creation and sacral energy activation in the purest, highest form. Doye shete tervota siete yani vosheta va etiti siete doy siete vateti siete or vatieti sho arvota siete vor vani siete vont entia siete siete va dor ititi siete vont entia siete vont siete vont siete vor vati siete ya voti siete.
Dude, that was like, wow, my. Well, we definitely started the week off right. We've got a pure multi-dimensional light language transmission just came through. So that was excellent. That was excellent. Absolutely excellent. You have no idea. There was like 17 voices in that voice. I don't know what was going on.
It's true.
You got anything?
I think that's mostly what it is right now too. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, no doubt. You just proved that. You got anything before we head up?
I'm feeling some light language coming through. This is opening up those sacred halls within ourselves that allow manifestation of our starseed within the physical world, within planet Earth. This is opening up the internal flow like a river. This is opening up that pure love that swaddles the innocence as it begins to emerge in this river. Shinna unna, ishin unna, ishin unna mana, inama ishna mayana mana, janana umma, iyanama iyamana umana, yanana.
Wow. We're definitely having some
Fireworks.
yeah, between you and her, I don't know. I mean, this is yeah, you can't make this shift up. Can't make this stuff up, man. There's no way.
And yet we did.
No, I mean, you even with you had multiple stuff happen. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that one or the both of you didn't start to morph. Let me see.
Didn't we though?
Yeah. Did I show you the a sculpture was sent to me by a dear friend, Denise Chadwick, sent me a sculpture of what Morgan sometimes morphs into when we're having sacred intimacy. It's usually a dragon. Well, that is a dragon. So, okay, we got Kimra Manuti, who I believe is, I'm not sure where she's from. She's coming on at 3 p.m. Eastern, so that's an hour and 20 minutes. And then Andy Hanna, one of our brothers who's always here supporting us. Thank you, everybody, for your continued love and support and contributions that keep us going, because we couldn't be here without your energy. Anyway, Andy's coming on at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then Ana Lucia is coming on at 7 p.m. Eastern. She's from Brazil, so this ought to be a pretty, wide variety today. And somebody knows Kim Ross, so yeah, it should be a great day. You guys, if you have time, catch us on the live. If not, catch us on the replay and look for more and more programming coming from Soulogy Network. Thank you, Thank you, Delia. Thank you for the incredible transmissions. I'm lit up. I would start doing light language, but I don't want anything crazy to happen. And I don't have the balls to do it.
What? That's bullshit. Make crazy shit happen now, Todd.
I can't. I'm not in the flow right now. I'm too much in Peter Pan mode right now. But I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Bye.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.